Good afternoon, everybody. This is Deb Strong at Financial Brokerage, and I want to thank each of you for being on the call today. We really appreciate it. You're in for a treat. We have Cody Lodemeyer, one of my favorite internals from North American today, and he's going to talk about some products and concepts that you can use for North American and separate the products into different swim lanes so that you'll know how to position the products and their income riders and so on. So thank you for being on the call. And without further ado, Cody, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you so much.
Perfect. I appreciate it, Deb. Thank you for the warm introduction. Before I do start out, I want to first say thank you, everybody, for being on the webinar. I know taking time out of your day isn't always fun, but hopefully we can make this pretty quick, give you some good nuggets to take away. And just I want to point out, most of the slides that I'm going to show, I've actually taken from North American's marketing team and a lot of our marketing material. So if you have any questions in regards to a certain flyer that you may see, and maybe you even want to co-brand it with your information, that's a capability that North American does offer, where you can take our marketing pieces, put your contact information, and then use it to blast out to the field. So keep that in mind as I'm going through this. There's some definitely great pieces built into this presentation that we've had a lot of success with in regards to pivoting either away from the market or pivoting to the market, or really to fixed indexed annuities in general. And as Deb said, I am with North American. I'm an internal wholesaler actually supporting our marketing organizations. You do also have an internal wholesaler named Jonah Hardenbrook that would support you at the agent level, and we can make sure to get everybody his contact information as well. But I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't mention a little bit about North American and what makes us different. I don't need to tell you our entire history, but I can tell you that we were founded in 1886. We've been around for a really long time. We were founded as the North American Accident Association out of Chicago. In 1999, the annuity division was formed, roughly right around when fixed index annuities were introduced into the marketplace. So we've really been here since day one. We're one of the 2 or 3 carriers in our industry that's never been purchased, gone through a merger, had a name change, or anything to that effect. So do keep that in mind. We've weathered pretty much every market condition that a fixed index annuity has been put through. We were able to come out with 3A+ ratings. We are 100% employee owned. That is going to be something that no other insurance carrier can say, or fixed indexed annuity carrier can say. We are all fully employee owned, have plenty of assets to back up our financial ratings, and I can touch base on those in just a moment here. But really, I wanted to show everybody the 3A+ ratings through AM Best, S&P, and Fitch. So far this year, we have already reaffirmed with AM Best and S&P. Fitch is currently in the process of being re-rated. So you're not going to have any problems if you are a registered rep getting North American approved with a broker dealer, or just in general, it's always nice to sell that A+ rated carrier paper. And kind of as I mentioned, our financials here at North American, we don't try and hide them, even though that we are fully employee owned. 95% of the bonds that we are purchasing are going to be investment grade bonds. You can clearly see our assets versus our liabilities there, have plenty of assets under management. We are actually preparing for a market recession here shortly. So that's one benefit that being employee owned allows us to do, is give us a long-term look compared to a short-term duration. If you have any questions about that aspect of it, anybody on our sales team would be happy to have that conversation. Speaking of our sales team, average tenure of our sales desk is over 12 years in the industry, actually 12 years with North American. Longest individual's been there for 19 years. Next is 17 years. The one after that is 12. So kind of think about that and do the math. They've been around for a really long time. They know what they're doing, and they'd be more than happy to help with any questions that anybody has. And of course, I know Deb and everybody at Financial Brokerage is willing to do the same as well. So before I hop into some conceptual items, I would like to talk about the portfolio that North American has to offer, but more the swim lanes that fixed indexed annuities generally fit into. And when I say swim lanes, it's more of that financial benefit or financial obligation that you're trying to solve for your clients. At the very top, I'm just going to start at the 12 o'clock position with liquidity. fixed indexed annuities generally aren't liquid vehicles, and we have some products on the income or the accumulation side that are going to help get around that. And one of the products that I'm going to talk about today actually has a bunch of liquidity built into it to help with those objections up front. Of course, there's always the income, and then I like to call it the multi-benefit, or we do here in North American. It's where you have an income plus an enhanced death benefit for maybe a failed life sale or a failed LTC sale or long-term care. Of course, we play around in the accumulation space with the North American Charter Plus and Performance Choice. And then the product that I'm really going to be focusing on today is the Versa Choice. Up in that top left-hand corner, kind of sitting right there between accumulation and liquidity. About 2 years ago, our industry was really heavy into the income and guaranteed income. Lately, the FINRA studies and LIMRA studies we've been seeing have actually moved more towards accumulation and using the actual benefits of a fixed indexed annuity to create your own income stream compared to a lifetime income rider. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the S&P 500 over the last 20 years. It looks pretty cyclical. In 2000, you had a crash, went down 49%. 2008, you had another crash, went down 57%. Well, since 2009, we've actually been on a pretty strong bull run. I think everybody can see here that up until the beginning of this year, the S&P was doing extremely great. And we actually had a 16% drop at the beginning of this year in the S&P 500. Since then, it has regained its balance and has actually grown over 17% if I checked my math right yesterday. Now, so keep that in mind. We've been on a 10-year run, had a slight dip at the beginning of the year, and the market's really given you that second chance to lock in all those gains that the clients have received over the last 10 years and that great market push. Let's lock those in and save money that is inherent with a fixed indexed annuity. And if we do potentially need liquidity to either fund our retirement or put money back into assets under management, there's some liquidity riders, options, and availability within the North American portfolio to be able to do that. But really, the average individual purchases a fixed indexed annuity at age 62, or at least that's what studies of our North American policies have shown us. Well, 62 is generally right as individuals are entering retirement. So as they enter retirement, they're putting their money into a vehicle that inherently is not a liquid product. Kind of scratches your head. That's why North American really is focused on liquidity and helping our agents overcome that for the long term, which also helps that story of locking up my money long term or a longer duration period. So we've seen the market go up, go down, go up, go down. If you look from 2000 to 2008, you're pretty much breaking even. And even from 2008 to 2013 or even maybe 2014, you're still pretty much breaking even. Those are roughly about 5-year swings there until the break even. Well, North American did another study on all the bear markets that have happened in the S&P 500 over the last 100 years. Our studies have found that they happen approximately every 5 years. So we've been on a bear market for the last 10. Average decline is at 39%. Well, right now, if the average person buying a fixed index annuity is 62, do they really want to take a 39% loss entering retirement? Highly doubt it. Average duration, 1.5 years, and the average time to break even, I think this is one of the biggest keys, is that 5.2. Because people will also say, okay, well, a fixed index annuity is tied to market performance. In that duration of 1.5 years, I could have no interest gains. You're right. 0 is always going to be your hero with a fixed indexed annuity. And I would much rather be sitting at a 0 loss than a 39% decline, because I don't want to wait 5.2 years before I even break even on my own money. Because you do need to think, if you lose 39% in the market, it's going to take closer to 50% the following year in order just to break even. You don't just have to make up that 39% because now you're starting with a lower value. So North American has done a lot of these studies, and then we like to point out where fixed indexed annuities fit within the marketplace. I like to look at this as risk on the left-hand side going up. So the higher you go up, the riskier the investment vehicle is. But also as you go to the right, that's kind of the potential returns. Riskier it is, the greater potential for returns. Well, you're going to see a purple line there right in the middle. That is your safe money or your premium protection line. So you're going to notice that fixed indexed annuities are right below that premium protection. So you're going to get that benefit, but they're going to have the most potential for gains out of some of the safe money alternatives that you have to offer, especially when you're going to compare it to a CD or a bank money market account or cash. I like to use this pitch on both sides of the spectrum. Traditionally, I've seen clients come through and either they're a bank client, they're used to bank rates, very low returns, but always safe and steady. Well, fixed index annuities or traditional fixed annuities can provide that same safety with having a little bit more growth potential. And then kind of reversely, as you go to bonds, mutual funds, stocks, variable annuities, those are going to be above the line where the clients are used to a little bit higher returns. Now, I do like to ask them, okay, you're used to a higher return, and I understand in 2019, your S&P 500 looks like it's been up 17%, but did you know that it dropped 16% right at the beginning of the year before that? So you're actually breaking even. It looks really good on a piece of paper. With a fixed index annuity, you're not going to have to worry about that risk. So you'll notice here there's multiple different benefits that individuals typically go for in an investment vehicle: safety or principal premium protection, tax deferral, guaranteed lifetime income or the potential for it, and growth potential. You'll notice here that the fixed index annuity is going to be the only one that checks off every one of those boxes and lines. Now, the growth potential might not be as strong as a stock or a mutual fund. However, you see it's going to also provide tax deferral, potential for a lifetime income stream, safety of premium. These are all things that we want to take into account when we're talking to or speaking with different potential clients and what our story has to offer. Now, I know that one of the big issues for an advisor on an annual review is having to explain a zero to a client in regards to a return. So let's take the fixed account out of the equation because you can always get around a zero if you allocate to the fixed account. North American did a study where the indexes that we studied were on the left-hand side there, so the 5. We then showed what the average return was of those indexes over a 30-year period, and then the amount of times that an agent would have had to explain a zero to their client. And you'll notice 33%, 19, 6.7, that's actually pretty low. 33, 60%. So that's saying a third to 2/3 of the time, you're roughly going to have to explain a zero to your client. Now, I fully understand that I just said zero is your hero, but that's not fun in an up market. That's fun in a down market. I know any agent can earn money in an up market. It takes those really good agents to earn money in a down market, and I can kind of explain how you're able to do that with a fixed indexed annuity here in a little bit. But during our study, we decided to just split that into equal fourths regarding the indexes that we chose over on the left-hand side. You can see that it steadies out those returns to a 4.1 or 4.2% average, but the amount of times that you actually have to explain a zero dramatically reduces from that 30, 20, 60% mark down to a 4.5. So that's once every, 20 visits with your client that you're going to have to explain a zero compared to once every 3 visits. So kind of see that in mind. Now, I apologize. I just got a note that nobody can see the presentation on my screen. Is that better, Deb? Can you see that now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, I apologize. Has it been blank this whole time?
Yeah, I couldn't see it.
Oh no, I've
Thanks,
been going
Cody.
through
Now
the
it's up.
PowerPoint. Now it's up on the Versa?
Now it's up. Yep, now it's
Okay,
up.
I apologize. Here are the charts that I was showing you earlier in regards to the S&P 500 that apparently nobody could see. I greatly apologize. I don't know why.
Can you pull up the one that has, in 100 years, every 5 years it changed? Do you have that one that you could
This one right
bring
here?
up? Perfect. Yeah, that's a
Yes.
great slide.
So this is that bear market flyer I was talking about in those statistics where every 5 years you see a bear market with the average decline being 39%, average duration being 1.5 years, and the average time to break even is 5.2 years. And again, I want to apologize to everybody who couldn't see my screen, and thank you, Deb, for letting me know that.
Yeah.
This was the first one that I was talking about. It's about how propped up the market is, because you can see we've been on a bull market for roughly 10 years. Well, according to our study, a bear market occurs approximately every 5 years. So I think anybody can tell you, if you are in a cyclical market, it's probably going to come back around at some point, and it'd be great to lock in your clients' gains now and look like that hero when it does happen. So this is the safe money protection that I was speaking about, where you can see the purple line and the principal protection aspect of it. Everything above is not principal protected, everything below is, and as you move left to right, you're going to have a greater chance for a potential return, with fixed index annuities being the most to the right for the greatest potential of a return, but also still right below that premium protection line. So you're going to give them the protection with the best chance to have that larger gain. So kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at different fixed indexed annuities in general. And then, of course, here, the multiple reasons individuals purchase fixed indexed annuities or financial products in general, and an FIA does check off all the boxes. So let's dive into the VersaChoice, because it is going to be one of our most versatile products that we offer. See what we did there? When you're looking at a base 10-year accumulation product, what does your client generally want? A simple, easy, repeatable story that you're not going to have to explain every year on an anniversary to them. And the best part about this product is we actually created a client website that has every marketing piece that we've created on it that's client approved, has videos that go over the alternative indexes that are typically a little harder to remember the inner workings for, a video on the product, and a lot of the different flyers and benefits built into it, with a little history on North American. That way your client doesn't necessarily have to bother you to have this memory jog when their anniversary comes up of why they purchased this annuity. They can hop out to that client site, watch those videos, and really see why they had purchased it. Now, I do want to kind of point out 3 different things on this. So we wanted to create an easy, repeatable story for our agents, but also something that they're able to sell. So there are multiple different alternative indexes in the industry, Barclays, Janus, Paribas, Mosaic. Most of those a traditional client hasn't heard of. Most individuals have heard of the S&P 500. So we created this product with only S&P 500 indexes. So kind of see that in the middle there. There's the straight S&P, and then there are some alternative indexes for some uncapped strategies that are built in there. But you'll notice they have that S&P 500 name, because the S&P actually created them. We don't have our hand in the pot at all. We're not controlling the internal workings of that index. The S&P is. So we did notice that 90-some% of our allocations actually go to an S&P 500 index, and that's why we wanted to make that focus here. You're going to notice in the top right-hand corner, this product is banded at a low and high band. It's banded at 75,000. So if your client can open up the product with 75,000 or more, they're going to get the higher rates for the duration of that product. If they are a little bit lower than the 75,000, they're still going to have some extremely competitive rates, just not as competitive if they had a little bit more assets to put in there originally. So that's as simple and easy as I'm going to keep it in regards to the accumulation story, because that's what truly matters. It's a flexible premium for the first year, strong compensation to the agent, strong rates associated with it. You don't have to mess with a bonus and give up potential rate on the back end. And it's going to have that easy, repeatable story with all S&P 500 indexes, and also that client website that has all the detailed information that they might potentially need in the future. And I actually know a lot of agents that use that website as a personal reference tool for themselves during appointments. So let's talk about liquidity. The main reason that the VersaChoice became as popular as it is today is because a liquidity rider associated with it that has 4 benefits built in. For a 50 basis points fee, which is extremely low in our industry, you can get enhanced penalty-free withdrawals, meaning the client can take up to 20% of their account value in year 2 if they don't take a withdrawal the year before. and it there caps out at that 20% moving forward until the client takes a withdrawal. So they can use that to reallocate back to AUM, or even to just take money out for their retirement, their go-go years. As they're entering retirement, individuals want a lot of liquidity, or at least access to those funds, to make sure that they can do the activities while they're still eligible and able to. Return of premium, and in the bottom left-hand corner over there, it's a true return of premium. On this product, we will refund the client the exact amount of funds that they provided us at issue, minus any withdrawals that they've taken. So long story short, they give us $100,000. We're going to give them $100,000 back. We're going to take back any interest that was earned. We're going to waive the surrender, waive market value adjustment, and refund the 50 basis points fee associated with it. So there's really no risk to the client if they don't want this product after their second anniversary. It's just 2 years where their money is going to be in a safe money vehicle. Now, the biggest question I get from producers in regards to that return of premium, well, if my client does take out their full account value after the second year, what's my chargeback? What am I going to have to pay back to that insurance carrier? And the answer to that is zero. There is no chargeback after the first year on any North American product. So that's definitely a huge benefit to you, and also that safety on the back end for the client if they decide they don't want the fixed indexed annuity in the future. It also has 2 activity of daily living based benefits built into it. One is an ADL-based surrender charge waiver. So that means if your client can perform all 6 activities of daily living at issue, and any time in the contract, even day one, if they can no longer perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, they can walk away from their contract at any point in the future that they would like. It is going to be fully liquid to them, not just up to a one-time withdrawal up to 100%. They're able to withdraw 30% this year, 33% the next year, 25% the year after that. It's going to be completely up to them. It's more of their choice. We're simply going to select a box in our system to take it out of surrender. And probably my favorite benefit, the ADL-based payout benefit. So a lot of individuals will use this for failed life sales, or failed long-term care sales. Now, even though this isn't a long-term care writer, it does have a little bit of that same feel, because if the client cannot perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, we'll take whatever their account value grew to and pay that out over 5 years. But we're going to give them an enhancement on top of that, depending on how long they held the contract for. So anytime on the 6th year after where that benefit maxes out, your client, if they can no longer perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living and they want to take out their funds from this annuity because something happened in their life and they really need the funds, they can turn it into a 5-pay, but we're going to give them 125% of their balance, not just the money that they grew to. So if their account grew to $100,000, we're going to pay out $125,000 over 5 years. Definitely a great benefit. That's a lot of liquidity with the 4 different options of the enhanced liquidity rider for that 50 basis point fee, and especially having the ability to walk away after 2 years with no harm, no foul. We'll fully refund the amount of premium that they provided us, no charge back to the advisor. And if you want to see how that illustrates in regards to an illustration, I took one out really quick here. This line highlights year 6 and the accumulation value. At $139,000 is what it grew to from the original $100,000. So $139,000, or if they can no longer perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, they could take out actually $174,000. So that's roughly what, $35,000 more over 5 years, which also helps spread out that taxation to the client as well. That's just a back-end benefit that I'll throw in if I need that extra kicker. Generally don't like to mention any tax advice because I am not a CPA. But keep that in mind. You can either have the client choose $139,000 or 5 equal payments of that $34,944, which is definitely a huge benefit to them in order to take that out. Now, we call this the One Legged Stool. This is a marketing campaign that we created that talks about the different types of income that your clients are going to have during retirement: pension, Social Security, and consumer savings. Well, North American also did a study on pensions. Of the top 500 companies in the US, only 6% of them even offer a pension. Only 2% of them offer a pension that hasn't changed in the last 15 to 20 years. So pensions are a dying breed. So we can take that leg of the stool away. Let's hop over to the Social Security side. The government has come out and stated that Social Security benefits are going to have to reduce in the future. I don't think that's a secret or surprise to anybody. Unfortunately, it's not going to be guaranteed for every individual moving forward. Now, I don't know what my future looks like. I have roughly 30 years until retirement, possibly even 35, but I am going to lean a little heavier on that consumer savings leg, knowing the information that I know. Well, the consumer savings leg of that bar stool might come down to the one-legged stool, their only source of income. Individuals have a tendency to withdraw their funds out of their accumulation account. Well, we don't want to fully deplete that if they don't have pensions or Social Security backing that up. And that's where you can take that consumer savings and start a lifetime income stream, essentially create their own pension for them if needed. Now, North American on the VersaChoice does offer what's called the Income Pay Plus income rider. It would grow at a compounding 6% annually for up to 10 years, or until the client decided to take their income, which they just have to wait 1 year, and then they can elect it at any point moving forward as long as they're over the age of 50. But really what makes our income product different than others in the industry, we allow them to choose a level or increasing lifetime payout at the time that they elect income, not at issue. So the time that they really need those funds, they can choose if they want to take a larger amount and have it levelized for the remainder of their life, or take a smaller amount up front, but have it increase every year moving forward, kind of like a cost of living adjustment, but not quite. R also has an LPA reserve feature. That's lifetime payout amount reserve feature. It's essentially a bucket. If your client doesn't need to take that withdrawal in a given year, meaning they were able to take money out of their savings or they got a check that they weren't expecting, they don't have to take that income stream, and they can leave that in this account until they need it in the future. It's essentially just going to sit there fully liquid to them. Of course, still earning money in the accumulation side of things for that death benefit to their beneficiaries, but it's there when they need it, kind of that extra savings account that's going to be fully principal protected. It also has a nursing home multiplier. So the last writer I spoke about had ADL-based benefits. This benefit is a nursing home multiplier. If they get confined to a qualified nursing home facility, we'll double that income for up to 5 years. Now, the only reason I like to show this screen is just to show that we do offer the level or increasing, and that our lifetime payout percentages are going to be very competitive with what is offered in the industry today. Also, back with our 3A plus ratings, if your client's purchasing a product for a lifetime income stream, they're going to have that for a lifetime. They're tying themselves to that individual company. Like I stated, since 1999, there's only been 2 or 3 carriers that have not gone through a merger, purchase, name change, or acquisition, and North American is one of them. With the 3A plus ratings, it's definitely a solid feat. And really, I'm going to kick it back to you, Deb. I apologize on the beginning where nobody could see my screen. I want to hop back there and just kind of shuffle through some of those slides so everybody can hopefully see what I was talking about.
Cody, can you send me an email with the copy of the slide with the 100-year bear market?
Absolutely.
And then I can email it out to people. We've had some requests. Should we open it up for a moment for some questions too?
Yeah, we absolutely can.
Do we have any questions from anybody today?
If anybody wants to raise their hand and go to webinar, I can unmute you. Or you can always send a chat through or a question to the question inbox.
One of the questions we had was about the bear market from one of the attendees, and when you email that to me, I will forward it to her.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
In
Okay,
fact,
so
Cody,
I do
if you
see
want,
some questions coming through. I
Okay, go
apologize.
ahead.
These might be a little older of questions as nobody could see my screen earlier. Maybe the audio was cutting out.
Right, but then it corrected itself.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I do see a couple requests here for those bear market flyers, and I will
Yeah, those
absolutely
are
send you
great.
the PowerPoint
Okay.
presentation as well. And
Okay.
again, I want to apologize to everybody. I had no idea. I was clicking through my PowerPoint thinking everybody could see it all handy dandy. Nope.
That's okay. We'll take care of it if you send that over to us. Do we have any other questions out there from anyone?
Can you download the slide deck? I will absolutely make that downloadable, or I will get that over to Deb so she can provide it to you, Lynn. That's not going to be a problem at all.
Okay.
And I will
Thank
also
you,
send
Cody.
over all the flyers that we kind of went through, like this S&P, the bear markets. I'll send a copy of those flyers so that Deb has it in case anybody does want to request it in the future.
Okay,
But,
that'll be awesome.
Deb, do you want to provide your number to everybody on the phone?
Sure, I absolutely do. It's 1-800-397-9999, and I'm at extension 6328, and Tim Schmadeke is at extension 6319. I also wanted to take just a quick second to remind people of the trips that we have this year for financial brokerage 2020 incentive trips. Include a Quebec City trip for $1.125 million of indexed annuity premium. And if you combine the Quebec City with the Montreal and Quebec City trip, that's only $1.750 in annuity premium, which are really attainable goals for this year to go on these fabulous trips that we're offering. So be sure and ask Tim Schmadeke or myself about that when you call in. And I wanted to also mention a referral program that we have where if you refer someone to us for any line of business, whether that's life, annuity, long-term care, DI, med sups, you can get a referral bonus on the person's business over the next decade. I refer to it as an agent's deferred comp program, really. So be sure and ask Tim and I about that as well. I want to take a moment to thank Cody Lodemeyer. Cody, you did a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic. If we just forget the fact that nobody can see the screen. I really do apologize. I was clicking through it. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. We'll get copies. No big deal. And I want to thank everybody for being on the call and for Cody hosting it. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, our number is 800-397-9999, extension 6328. Thanks so much, and thank you, Cody.
Of course. Have a great day.
Bye-bye, everybody.